In this last example in section 4.4, we're looking at the difference between practical and statistical significance. When we say we reject the null, we have significant evidence of some alternative hypothesis, that's considered statistical significance. We want to talk about that may not always feel like being practically significant. It may not feel like a difference in real life. So here's an example of that. Suppose a weight loss company advertises that people using the program lose an average of 8 pounds their first month, and the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, wants to gather evidence to see if that claim is accurate. So if they find evidence that the average is less than 8 pounds, they're going to file a lawsuit against the company for false advertising. What are the null and the alternative? So what we're trying to figure out is if the weight loss is 8 pounds or is it actually less than that? And so if you read the wording here, is the average less than 8 pounds? So we're looking at one group and we're looking at weight loss, which is quantitative data. So we are interested really in a research hypothesis of mu less than 8. Baseline to go along with that is mu equal to 8. So we're given some info on the next page then. Suppose that they gathered information from a really large sample of people on this program and find that the weight loss during the first month is 7.9 pounds, and that 7.9 pounds yields a p-value of 0.0006. What would be the conclusion, and are the results statistically significant? Okay, so what would we do? We compare our p-value, which is very small here, to like a alpha 0.05, and with a really small p-value, we'd reject the null. And so if I reject the null, I say I have evidence of the alternative, which was that mu was less than 8. So we would say we do have statistically significant evidence that the population mean weight loss is less than 8 pounds. That would suggest then that that claim is not accurate and that they would want to file this lawsuit. But what we're asked then is, are these results actually practically significant? So do you think that if you're on a weight loss program and they say that we are going to have 8 pounds as our loss and we only have 7.9, is that a big deal? And so no, the people probably are going to consider 7.9 close enough to 8 pounds if we're talking about weight loss. That difference of 0.1 doesn't really mean anything. So this is not practically significant. What can happen is if you take a really, really large sample, you can end up with statistically significant results that don't feel like they should really mean anything practically. So I want to keep in mind that statistical significance does not always mean that it feels like there's a difference practically, and there's a disconnect when we use this word significant between statistical significance and really like what does it mean in practice.